Hello friends from Wheelchair Gang, Theories here. In today's video, we're going to be talking about an issue Doctor Who has had for a while that has finally come to my attention and I finally want to talk about it. But before we do, I'm going to ask you to do a teeny tiny little favour for me. Only a small percentage of my audience is actually subscribed, so if you are new around here and you do end up enjoying the content, then please do consider subscribing. It's absolutely free, but I'd never force you to do it. Thank you so much. We're trying to get to 10,000 by the end of the year, and I honestly think we can do it with your support. With that said, enjoy the video. So if you guys follow me on Twitter, which if you don't, you definitely should, then you'll know that I posted a tweet that said the following. According to my count, 16 of the 21 Whittaker episodes we've had so far either take place solely on Earth in some form, for example, Orphan 55, where it's not Earth, but it's revealed later on that it is, or are on Earth for the majority of the runtime, Spyfall Part 2, which takes place entirely on Earth, save for the last 2 minutes, where you see the destroyed Gallifrey and stuff. Can we please go to some new locations in Series 13? Now, this tweet got some interesting reactions because I saw people firmly on both sides of the fence. I saw people saying that Doctor Who needs to have some more variety in terms of its locations, and I saw some people saying that they prefer the more Earthbound style. However, my issue with the recent Earthbound stories is less that they're just set on Earth, and more that they seem to pan out the same way. For example, at least 7 of the Whittaker stories that I spoke about end with the, oh, it was actually the human doing it all along. And someone said that the woman in Praxeus is basically a humanoid, not a human. But the fact that I didn't remember that just shows how forgettable she was as a character. And someone put into context the recent increase in Earthbound stories with a handy graph, which is from Doinkadact, which I'll show now. As you can see, we've had a steady increase in Earth stories since the 11th Doctor's time, culminating in the 13th Doctor's run of Earth stories, which is only beaten by the 8th Doctor, who, if you'll remember, only had one televised story in the form of the movie, and the 9th Doctor, who only had one series, and that series was deliberately set on Earth as a means to be an easy jumping on point to new fans. So yeah, it's obvious that Whittaker has quite an abundance of Earthbound stories, especially compared to some of her predecessors. In fact, a really staggering statistic is that she even has a higher percentage of Earthbound stories thus far than the 3rd Doctor, who is known for having loads of Earthbound stories. That's the whole gimmick of the era. And I'm just of the opinion that we should be at a point now where it's okay to expect some more space stories in a show that literally revolves around the idea that it can go anywhere and do anything at any time. Yet we always seem to be around 21st century Earth, or at the very least Earth in some capacity. I understood the need for it in Series 1 because no one had seen the show for 20 years and they needed an easy jumping on point for new fans. I understood it in the 70s because it was an easy cost cutting measure and a new formula that the show desperately needed. But we're living in an age now where people are used to weird stuff on film and television. The most popular show in the world right now is WandaVision, a show about a witch and a red robot having a fantasy world together. I think they can accept that the blue box goes to space. I think what doesn't help this for me is that I've never been a massive fan of the Earthbound stories anyway, so when I see the Whittaker stories and I see that 16 of them take place on Earth, I think it is one of the issues I have. Now, some people say, well, it doesn't matter to them whether it's Earth or in space as long as the story is good, and that's valid. I just find that these Earthbound stories, particularly in the Whittaker era, are getting very repetitive, where it's, oh, there's this alien thing, but the aliens aren't actually the issue, it was the humans. It's an effective twist once or maybe twice, but when that becomes half of the probability of who the villain's gonna be, it dramatically decreases the sort of mystery and tension behind your villain. I know that Chibnall likes his more globe-trotting adventures where you go to multiple different countries in an episode. However, I would much prefer that budget be redirected into realising alien worlds than just taking us to different places on our own world. Because I think in the end, it's a space show. It's a space and time show. It's meant to go to the far reaches of the universe, and the farthest we ever seem to get is the past or the future. rather than actually going anywhere new. Revolution of the Daleks would have been a perfect opportunity to at least show Skaro in some capacity, but no, we just see the ship of the Daleks hanging about in space, and there's no implication of any other planets in that episode. And the only other time other planets are included is in like little throwaway lines, like in the end of Revolution, where the Doctor says that they could go to a planet entirely made of meringue.
I thought we could try the Meringue Galaxy. It's not a place, it's a restaurant.
Why do we only get told about these things? Why can't we just see them? It just feels really cheap, and I get that it's a BBC show, and I get that it doesn't have the biggest budget, but if the 70s and 80s could pull off alien planets convincingly enough, I see no reason why we can't do it in 2021, and I think people are just making excuses. The show has got a bigger budget now than it's ever had. It's got more support now than it's ever had. It's getting support from international partners and things like that. There really is no excuse to be constantly stuck on Earth. It's creatively stifling a show that can theoretically do anything. And someone posed in the comments that they heard a rumour that basically all the episodes of Series 13 will be set on Earth due to COVID, and I really hope that isn't the case, because it's just going to start to feel incredibly samey, like it already does to me. And this is why I honestly don't think we'll ever get an alien companion, because the show is just too happy to play it safe. It doesn't want to go to alien places, it doesn't want to try and do more weird experimental things. It's quite content just staying on Earth, doing your basic sci-fi shenanigans on Earth, and never going any further than that. And I think it's just a shame, honestly, that in an age where it's easier than ever to make magical and like fantastical worlds come to life, we still end up stuck on Earth. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little rant. I just kind of want to see some more alien planet type stories. This is just an own personal thing. I've never been a huge fan of the Earthbound stuff, which is why like the John Pertwee era for me is like my least favourite part of classic Who. I much prefer the experimentation of the 60s and 80s. I just much prefer that. But if you did enjoy this video, be sure to give it a like, comment down below your thoughts, and subscribe if you're new. Just wanted to give a quick update here that if you're wondering why the green screen hasn't changed in this video, it's that I can't get the lighting right, and I had to pay £9 to get it to work last time, and I'm not paying that every time, so get used to the green screen. But thank you for watching, and I will see you later.